What's up, YouTube? Capital G here, looking at some new amazing Magician Spellcaster support coming out of Maximum Crisis. These are Yusho's cards, and they are fucking incredible. I'm going to talk about just these cards in the video, these two specific cards, because they have got me so excited. There were actually a bunch of cards from Maximum Crisis. I'm going to talk about all of them, but these two specifically in the video, just because I don't want like an 18-minute video. That can be just kind of boring to watch. And these are the two that have me just super hyped and super enthusiastic about the future of like magicians and especially spellcasters in general. Now, these are Yusho's cards. If you don't know who Yusho is because you don't watch the anime, Yusho is Yuya's father. Yuya being the main character, the one that plays Odd Eyes and has the stupid red and green hair and whatnot. He's known as the greatest entertainment duelist to ever live. He's a really big deal in the anime, and I mean, they named schools after the guy. Like, he's a very, very good duelist, and honestly, if he's playing cards like this, I understand how he fucked up basically everybody. They show a couple of his duels, like when he dueled against Edo, Aster, Phoenix, Mr. Destiny Hero, he just scraped him. Like, these cards are fucking incredible. So if he's playing this, like, it's obvious that he's a fucking amazing player, because his cards just dictate that he'd be so amazing. So these are some really good stun cards. They're both continuous spell cards. It appears that Yusho's deck kind of revolves around activating continuous spells, having them activate their effects, and then bouncing them and then being able to activate them again. So it's like a pretty cool mechanic. This is Magician's left hand, and then the other one is Magician's right hand. The first one, the left hand, is a continuous spell. Once per turn, when a trap effect activated by your opponent resolves, while you control a spellcaster type monster, negate that effect, and if you do, destroy it. And then the right hand pretty much does the same thing. Once per turn, while a spell effect activated by your opponent resolves, while you control a spellcaster type monster, negate that effect, and if you do, destroy it. So basically, these are kind of like floodgates that lock your opponent out of being able to use an important spell or an important trap for that turn, as long as you control a spellcaster. That is so incredible, because if you look at the way the game is played now, like, the game is so predicated on your opponent being able to use like one powerful spell and then just going off and being able to like plus super hard off of that card. Think about cards like Soul Charge and Brilliant Fusion and Pot of Desires, and if you're just able to negate those instantly, or Instant Fusion, you know what I mean? Just negating one of those in a turn can literally make your opponent's entire hand shit. Like, okay, you had 5 cards plus you activated the Desires and that broke the game open, but nope, you wanted to activate Desires. Like, not so fast, my friend. Another thing that's important is, since these cards negate the effects of the cards and don't actually negate the cards themselves, they can be used on spell speed 3s. So if your opponent, like, let's say you have the left hand on the field and, I don't know, you have just a Dark Magician or whatever, if you summon another, like, let's say, I don't know, you normal summon a Magician's Rod and your opponent tries to activate Solemn Warning or Solemn Strike on the effect, you can actually negate the spell speed 3 because you're negating the effect of the card. You're not actually negating the card itself. So this is really, really good, and I believe that right hand can I'm pretty sure that it can negate pendulums, because I think that, like, when you activate a pendulum, I'm pretty sure it counts as activating a spell effect. So if you can negate pendulums, then these cards are amazing. But even if you can't, just in general, like, think about negating a spell every single turn, or think about negating a trap every single turn against Mad Specters. Like, that is going to be seriously tough for them to play around, because they're always going to be thinking, damn, I got to pretty much use a tornado just to use another tornado. I have to throw my Tempest at them just so I can use this tornado. And, you know, they still have to pay the cost of those cards. If you think about decks like Paleozoic, where a lot of times they rely on one specific trap to kind of survive for the turn, like a Quaking Mirror Force, a Stormy Mirror Force, or a Wabaku. If you negate the right card, you can probably just blow them out and just win the duel right then and there. Or you can make it so they can't activate that Wabaku and all of their monsters are now susceptible to being destroyed by battle and they all get banished, and, you know, basically you just win. But this one right here, the right hand, I think this card is just going to be useful against every deck. You just think, if you can negate a spell card against every single, like, every turn against your opponent, like, after like 2 turns, they're probably just gonna lose if they know, damn, I gotta just throw my Brilliant Fusion away for free just so I can play Yu-Gi-Oh! Like, that is so amazing. I have to throw my Supply Hanger away or my Union Hanger away just so I can activate my other cards. Like, that is really incredible. And I don't think that this card is just potentially good in decks like Dark Magician, or you can splash it in Performapals. You could play it in like Magic Specters, where it's very easy to keep your monsters, but you could even hypothetically build like some anti-meta spellcaster stun decks, maybe play like 3 right hand and maybe like you know, a couple or 1 copy of like left hand, because if you play like Kaiku and you maybe Breaker the Magical Warrior, like those are pretty decent monsters still by today's standards. You know, Dark Magician is a deck where we already play Starlight Road just to protect ourselves from like Twin Twister, from Eternal Soul getting blown up. We'll definitely consider playing this card, which works every single turn during both players' turns. Like, you constantly just going plus, and your Dark Magicians are already unaffected by everything because of Eternal Soul. So it's not like keeping monsters on the field are going to be incredibly difficult. So I think these cards are both super good. For anybody saying, well, why don't you just run Secret Village or the Spellcat? That card is so fucking booty. There are so many ways of outing that card. One, if your opponent summons a Spellcaster, the card turns itself off, and it's not like people just play Lila and Lumina and Bambunku and everything. Those are all Spellcasters. So, like, Secret Village is a card that's easily outable, and the reason why this card is so much better right hand than Secret Village is when you don't have a Spellcaster, this card doesn't do anything. It just turns itself off. When you don't have a spellcaster for Secret Village, it literally starts shitting on you when it was supposed to shit on your opponent, because now I can't play my spells. Like, what? Now I can't activate Pot of Duality and Pot of Desires and all my good cards because I don't have a spellcaster? Like, that sucks. So I think these cards are really good. What do you guys think of them? I could totally see people playing these cards. And obviously, when I talk about the other magicians, I'll talk about other ways to exploit these cards as well. Thank you guys for watching. As always, smash that motherfucking thumbs up button, because apparently YouTube's algorithm is broke as shit, and the only thing it cares about is the amount of likes that you get now. Shout outs to H3H3. Anyways, if you guys enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you have not already.